Hello, beautiful souls. Welcome to A Better World with Adrian. I'm grateful that you're here. Thank you for pressing play. Thank you for giving your most precious resource, your time, your energy, your attention. I am feeling so there's a freedom, a new level of freedom that's coming through in the energy of the collective in this opening of 2026. This is the first podcast that will drop in February of 2026. And I feel really inspired to channel on these topics, fate, free will, soul contracts, and divine timing, because they come up so much in my mentorship spaces. They come up so much. I mean, the work we do here at New Earth Elite it's the fusion of spiritual mastery and high performance, right? There's a lot of people that are deeply spiritual and have mastered a lot in the quantum realm, and then they are extremely unskilled in high performance, and so they never actualize their potential. And then there's the other side of the coin, okay? There are extreme high performers that create massive success. However, they're operating in the 3D. They're not really utilizing the full faculty and awareness of the quantum and gaining these energetic mastery toolkits. So today and as always, I'm diving into the fusion of both. That's what sets this movement, this work, this ecosystem, what we do together apart. This is what really will create a better world. The title of this podcast. I created and birthed this podcast back in 2022, and literally all of my mentors and coaches told me not to do it. They were like, a podcast is a lot of work, a blah, 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 blah. But you know what my soul said? I had a deep call to create an unrestricted vocal channel where I could create an offering to the collective outside social media that I own and that is long form and that can change lives and create a positive, lasting ripple. Um, and I'm so glad I did. And the name came to me, A Better World with Adrian. The music that you hear at the beginning is me, that's me playing. That was the first take, a raw take, at a client's home. Who, by the way, just the full circle is real because he used to be my client, my piano client back in my Chicago days on the North Shore. And then he's just a very powerful global entrepreneur. And he helped me a lot when I started when I, went on the full entrepreneur path. And yeah, I channeled that and here we are. And so what I feel called to share in this moment is that you will have different eras of your life a if you have a like golden pillar of values and a way that you share your gifts, it holds every single era that you are in. There have been so many different iterations of me. I'm still discovering new versions of myself every single day, all day. If you are not doing that, you are leaving your destiny on the table. So, what I'm excited about sharing in this episode is just a real potent understanding about these topics. Of course, if you want to go really deep into embodying them, learning more, receiving custom mentorship, I am enrolling one-on-one Lux clients for 2026. This is for elite, insane, mavericks, visionaries, founders, and you are seeking and you are claiming and you are committing to your next 10x jump. So your next quantum leap in 2026 through this fusion of spiritual mastery and high performance. Okay. You and I will lock arms. We'll get in person. We'll do our opening immersion together in person and just go deep. Breathwork, astrology, coaching, manifestation, holy habits, health, all the things. So the link to apply for that is in the show notes. If you feel called to that, by the way, just press pause on this episode, go apply, get your application in because this is my highest proximity. Like, I believe in doing less things really, really, really well. If you follow me online, you may have noticed that I took an extreme step back from social media, and that was very, very deliberate. And the amount of creative space and bandwidth and explosion of magic and miracles and abundance and all of the things since then has been immense. Um, I'm doing less things better, which means I'm taking on way less clients, but going way, way, way deeper with each of my one-on-one Lux clients. So, if this is you, and you already know, by the way, if you want to work with me, hit pause, go fill out the application, and then come back and receive the episode. Okay, let's take two deep breaths together to just connect our minds, bodies, and spirits for this transmission. Reminder that technology is very Aquarian. By the way, you can do Aquarius Advance breathwork and the whole transmission about Aquarius energy for New Earth that we did. If you were not there live, the link to that is in the show notes as well to get a deep dive on this energy and code it into your body, do nervous system reset, all the things. The podcast is very Aquarian because it's connecting the mind space, it's connecting through technology, all right? And so this is the advancement. The AI tornado is upon us. Welcome to it. Most people are deeply, deeply underestimating what's coming, especially in April. So you get to be prepared for all of that. And a reminder that when we connect and take a deep breath together, we're creating a grid of light that goes beyond time, space, location. It creates a web of souls. And a powerful collective is built through powerful individuals. This is why power to the people doesn't work. Because if you give your power away to the collective, guess what? You gave away your fucking power, right? No, absolutely not. We claim our full power. Power with and within is the way that will work, okay? This is transcending. This is rising above. It's not right or wrong. When they say go left or right, we go up, okay? Left, right, right, wrong, this side, that side. It's all dark force distraction from love, from a higher frequency, from a higher perspective, okay? So, no matter what you're doing, just be here now. Take up residence in your body, the house for your soul. And if you can, place your hand on your heart and just feel your heartbeat. Inhale through your nose. Exhale out the mouth. One more like that. Inhale through the nose. Exhale out the mouth. Blink open your eyes if you had them closed. There are two red roses on the altar today, and this is representing union. And what I'm really feeling is not just union in terms of divine union soulmate, which by the way, there are new relationship templates coming online in 2026, and something that I learned in my lived experience in 2025 and moving forward forever and ever and ever is that it's impossible to self-actualize and reach your full soul's potential without divine union. That's wildly interruptive, and it's true because there are energetic templates. And we're going to get into things like that in today's episode. What I'm really feeling is divine union between you and creator, you and your soul, and the fusion of the masculine and feminine within you. You cannot call in a soulmate or anything like that correctly if you don't have the fusion of masculine and feminine within you. Okay? All right. Fate, free will, soul contracts, and divine timing. So I feel called to speak into this because these are questions I get all the time in mentorship. People ask in the online space, and there is generally two schools of thought. And what I'm here to do is just shatter both of those and offer the new earth elite ecosystem of energetic law that works, okay? I don't care about right or wrong. I care about what works and what doesn't work. I care about, okay, what's love? What's abundance? What's aligned with the light? Okay, that's what we're doing. That's what we believe in, right? It's not about shame. It's not about opinion. It's not about opinions are just opinions are not like even relevant when you operate on this different frequency and this different plane. And that's why it's called New Earth Elite. Elite is above, high performing, better, right? There are better ways that work. We're interested in what works to create miracles, what works to create dreams, what works to create a better world, right? So the two schools of thought are usually everything is fated and you have no free will, or there's nothing up to fate and everything is in your free will. Neither of those are true. Both of those delete some part of energetic law. Okay. So we're transcending to a place and a time zone and a reality where all of these coexist and simultaneously play out in your life. And you get to know this, understand this, and leverage it to advance your soul mission, advance your dream, advance your soul growth. Literally, the whole point of incarnating to this planet is to grow and to be your highest self, to be your best. You know, my dad would say to us growing up, and I'm so grateful for this, he would say the whole point of life is to be your best in everything. Be your best in everything. And this is actually deeply coded in spiritual law. Because when you strive to be your absolute best, it's having reverence for life. It's having reverence for Creator. You're not squandering your life. You're not squandering the gift of this breath. You're not squandering the gift of this day. It's like every single day, I'm going to be great. I'm going to be great. And it's also about making a positive ripple in the world. So, fate, free will, soul contracts, and divine timing. Fate, kismet, destiny, right? Fate, there are fated events in our lives. Now, we live in a hologram, a simulation where there are multiple timelines that we are choosing every single day, all day. So, timelines are determined by your free will choice. Okay? There are fated events in every single timeline, right? You choose the timeline by the using your free will. This is how you use free will. In every single moment, you have a choice between am I going to choose the light of the creator or am I going to choose dark forces, right? Like, am I going to choose instant gratification or long-term blessing? And it's this powerful perspective that we get to live by and accelerate and improve in every single day. I can tell you that me, you, all of us, we all get challenged and we all make choices for short-term instant gratification because fear and lack come up. And why do fear and lack come up? Because that's the human experience. This whole human experience is a free will experience where we have the free will opportunity to choose the light or to not choose the light, right? And so there are fated events. Like, for example, I'm going to share throughout this podcast some examples from my own life that have been extremely powerful. And they were fate. There was fated events, and then there were also it was fate and free will, right? So here's one fated event from my life. I've shared it on the podcast before, but it's been a while. Um, the first man that I ever truly loved with all my fucking being. I love hard. I'm a fierce. I have a very fierce love. Um, you may have gathered this about me from receiving the podcast. It is like I don't do moderation. I don't do mediocrity. It's like I'm either in or I'm out. Like, well, like one guy, like not one guy, several guys. I don't magnetize this energy literally at all anymore. But it used to be like guys would ask me, "Oh, do you want to hang out? Oh, can we be friends now?" And I'm like, "Bro, I don't do that. I don't hang out. We're either friends or you're courting me. You're pursuing me. I don't hang out. Send a car, make a dinner reservation. Like, that's what I'm available for." So, this one example of fate in my life was I was driving home from yoga and the brakes went out in my car. And so I had to swerve to avoid an intersection going into a huge busy intersection in the city of Chicago. And I swerved and I crashed into a diner. Okay. And when I was in the diner waiting for the tow truck, I met the man that I lived with, I almost married. We turns out we had done like over 300 lifetimes together. Um, and my childhood dog Soul actually incarnated into his puppy's soul, which like that was a whole other thing that I'm not going to get into in this. Um, I feel honestly, I feel a bit exposed sharing like I just feel in terms of this like breaking free energy that's alive when I'm recording this, I feel a deeper exposure of my multidimensionality coming online. Like how spiritual I really am, how much I do play in other realms, like truly every day, all day, and also how grounded I am in birthing new paradigms in this planet. Like it's both. So I crash into this diner and he's sitting there he's sitting in a booth having breakfast with his dad and he makes a joke and this is where free will comes in, right? This is where free will comes in. I was like, this day sucks. Like I had concert tickets. I was about to, and for a professional musician, for me to have concert tickets to go see music and be listening to live music and receive rather than me being the one on stage was extremely rare. Like I was always the one on stage. I was never in the audience. And so I was like, I'm gonna miss this concert. My car's getting towed. I was like, this guy is so hot. Like I have nothing to lose. And so this is where free will came in. Fate, literally fate, destiny, swerved my car, crashed it into a diner so I would meet this guy. Like you cannot make that shit up. And I'm sure there are things in your life as you're listening, you're like, yeah, it was fate. It was fated. It was fated. However, this is where the free will part comes in. He was leaving and I almost didn't do it. And then I was like, you know what? Today is kind of like already kind of shitty because literally I crashed my car and I'm missing this concert. I'm gonna ask that guy out, and if he says no, who fucking cares? And so I went and I asked him out in front of his dad and everything. And then it ended up being this beautiful, um, epically transformative relationship in my life that honestly, it was one of my deepest catalysts for change and growth and healing. I wouldn't trade it for the world. I'm absolutely not supposed to be with this person. Um, and it was like multiple years of just a fated we had a soul contract, we talk about soul. I'm going to talk about soul contracts, but it's like that would have never happened if I hadn't used my free will to take the action. Like he used his free will to come up to me and make a joke, right? About, hey, he made a joke about me parking in the tow zone because I was literally crashed into the diner. Okay. And then I used my free will to say, to just ask him out, ask out a guy. And like, obviously, it was my not my first time ever asking out a guy, but like, do you see how in this story all of these things are at play? Like, fate brought us together, literally crashed us together. And then we both used free will to choose that timeline and honor that fated meeting and that soul contract. We absolutely had a soul contract for healing. We were supposed to deeply activate each other's pain, wounds, love, abundance, all of these things and heal it. And we actually had an amazing opportunity in this lifetime to break a cycle that we had been in for lifetimes and lifetimes, like insane. So that's just one example of these different elements working together. There are fated events that happen that, creator is controlling this whole thing. So the next time you are like feeling really controlling about things in your life and you're trying to force certain outcomes, I want to remind you that you are not running this thing. You have free will choice. However, who ultimately is in charge? Who knows more than all of us? Creator. Okay. Creator is going to make the correct choices, put the correct people in our lives. Now, if you are someone who doesn't use your free will to take action and do shit, Creator can send you things all day. Creator can send me like 17 soulmates. If I don't do anything, if I don't do my spiritual work, if I don't take action, if I don't use my free will to choose long-term blessings instead of instant gratification, I'm never going to actually receive those fated divine blessings, right? Does this make sense? A lot of people wait around for fate. They're like, well, if it's fate, if it's meant to be, this is something I hear a lot from people, um, in general, in the collective. If it's meant to be this, if it's meant to be, then blah. And it's like, you've got to do everything on your end, your side of the street to use your free will to claim it. All right? This is why This is why not everyone in the world is happy, hot billionaires with six packs and like the most amazing epic relationships because of free will. We all have free will, and it doesn't matter what circumstance you were born in. It doesn't matter what country you were born in. By the way, if you're listening to this podcast, you are sitting on a throne of privilege, and it's your divine responsibility to leverage that privilege. If you believe in something like privilege, okay, leverage it. It's not about shame. It's not about guilt. Shame and guilt are just a frequency we're not available for. It doesn't work. And it's not true. It's all lies. It's when you dehumanize yourself, right? Is guilt important to feel if you do something that's truly wrong? Is feeling guilt important? Yes, because you know it was wrong. And the thing is, you knew it was wrong when you did it, right? So you feel guilty about it, you learn your lesson, and you move on. And this is why the work I do with the nervous system with all my clients and myself is so important because it's like if you don't know how to release shame and guilt out of the cells of your body, you will never live a life of miracles. And if you're already wildly successful, maybe you created a lot of that success from a place of shame or self-loathing. I know I did that. I won my dream job at 27 functioning from that place. Okay. It's kind of disturbing how far people can get from that place. Coming to the unconditional root of compassion and love for yourself, once you fully accept yourself in this moment, is the only way you can change yourself. If you're shaming yourself, you can't change anything, right? And the whole point is change, evolution, growth, receiving, abundance, making dreams, stewarding your vision, health, wealth, happiness, freedom, right? So there's fate. There's free will, there's soul contracts, okay? We have soul contracts with so many different things in life. We have soul contracts with people, with animals, with land, with jobs, with literally everything. And something that happens is that what happens is between free will and soul contracts a lot is, and the more successful you are, the more you're tapped into your free will. I've discovered. And people that are super successful, which my clients come to me, you're already successful. You've already done what most people will never do. We're not here for mediocrity, right? We're here for greatness. We're here for excellence. We're here for mind-bending magic and abundance and miracles and impact. Um, when you have a lot of free will and agency, um, you will try and outsmart a soul contract. You will try and use your free will to bend a soul contract when the contract's not up, or start a contract when it's not time for the contract yet, right? So a soul contract is like there are certain times and locations and expressions of things that you call into your life because you're meant to learn something, you're meant to grow, you're meant to receive something from this, right? Um, like one example from my life is, I mean, even my first partner, um, the guy that I mentioned in the story about fate is like we had a soul contract, right? And that's one example, but another soul contract I had a soul contract with Maui. I moved to Maui. I had a soul contract with Maui. Like that whole thing, like I was using my free will. Here's the thing about I'm just sharing a bunch of stories as they come to me because it helps when you teach through story. It helps when you teach through example. And especially, I'm a Leo sun and my Jupiter's in Leo. A big way that I lead is through my personal story, right? So I was being called to the land. Fate, soul contract. I was being called to the land. I could have used my free will and went into the logical brain and been like, no, I'm staying in Chicago. Oh, I have a really successful business here in Chicago. Like, I'm just gonna stay here. But literally, my soul was crying out, it's time for change. This is over. And what happened was actually my contract in Chicago was up. And the moment I used my free will and I decided the moment I decided, before I told anyone else, I decided within myself, I'm moving to Maui. I was like, I'm not renewing my lease. I'm moving to Maui. I have no idea how, but I'm moving to Maui. And when I tell you, once I used my free will to say yes to that soul contract, all of the doors started slamming shut in my face in Chicago. A bunch of my clients just like, oh, we're gonna be done. Oh, we're gonna be done. Oh, we're gonna be done. Got in two car accidents. Creator was like forcing me to sell my car, you know? It's like all of these things. So soul contracts are, I had a deep soul contract actually with my parents when I came to Michigan after living on Maui and going through a lot of challenge. I had soul contracts with my parents, and it was like very specific energetics that we could only come together and transmute together at this point in life, at this point in their life, at this point in my life. And I'm so deeply grateful for all of it, right? And then the last part of this is divine timing. Something that people say, people talk about divine timing all the time. And most of the time, it's what people are saying is not true. They're using it as an excuse. They're blaming divine timing as a reason for not taking responsibility for their life, for not creating their reality, for not making choices, for not just being their highest self. They hide behind divine timing, right? Divine timing is obvious when you study. when you study astrology. There's energetic law, there's energetic waves, right? So it's the synergy of all of this. For example, divine timing. The day that I'm recording this episode, Uranus is stationing direct in Taurus, okay? The energy is like sudden shocking change in the sign of Mother Earth, in finance, in the body, in the food system, okay? So aligned divine timing today is major change, sudden changes, right? And so that would be an example of like if you want to make a sudden change in your life, it's supported with divine timing, okay? New moons, full moons, like astrology transits, Chinese energetic years and all of this stuff. There is such a thing as divine timing, and it's obvious when you study. Here's the thing about all of this. And as I share on each, do you understand how they all work together? Fate, free will, soul contracts, and divine timing, they literally all work together. It's not one or the other. It's not fate or free will. It's not soul contracts or divine timing. It's not free will or soul contracts. They literally all work together. And this is why the work we do is so unique and valuable inside New Earth Elite is because we're not putting things in silos. Everything's integrated. It's an ecosystem. It's an ecosystem of greatness, of creation, of art, of abundance, of love, of power, of freedom, of contribution, right? Of self-actualization, of birthing new paradigms, right? So there are there are energetics that actually float above. If you imagine like a big rainbow, I'm getting an image. If you've never been to Hawaii, you must go to Hawaii and see the rainbows in person, like with your own 3D eyes. It's so magical. Um, there's a big rainbow above all of this that are energetics to meet all of these moments and expressions in your life in meet all of this as your highest self. The first one is everything comes down to, am I aligned with the light of the creator or not? Literally, that's all that matters. Am I aligned with creator? Am I following my intuition? I was interviewed this morning and somebody asked me, it was interesting. It was very interesting. They were they're going to do an article about me and they were like, "What's the accomplishment you're most proud of up till this point?" Like they were like, "Is it like a title or an award?" And I like, it was such an interesting question because I was just like kind of confused why that was even a question. I'm like, I don't care about awards. Like, why is that a thing? And I said, the thing I'm most proud of is that I live from my intuition every single day in a world that tries to make me not. And the interviewer was like, they just like sat there for a second. I'm like, that's it though. Like that's how every single other thing happens. Everything worthwhile comes from that place. So beyond all these four categories that work in tandem together, it's, are you aligned with the light? Are you working with creator? Okay. Number two, are you following your intuition? Number three, are you able to access your intuition? AKA, do you have command of your nervous system? If you don't, you will never be able to tell between fear or intuition ever. And then number four is skill sets. There are high performance and spiritual skill sets for you to move through fate, free will, soul contracts, and divine timing with precision, with joy, with delight, with magic. Skill sets. Being worthy is not a skill set, okay? Being worthy, it just is, right? You are worthy. We're all worthy. And once, like, that's not even part of the conversation. We are all children of the stars, pieces of God source energy in human form. Now that that's settled, we can move on to what's going to be most impactful for you accessing your dreams, your goals, your vision. So that's today's episode, a little bit on fate, free will, soul contracts, and divine timing, how they all work together. It's an ecosystem that when you learn how to play in this playground and this video game, you can bend reality um, really quickly, really amazingly, and live a life of not just abundance and impact and inner peace and all of your dreams, but like live a life of just like presence and witnessing because all of this requires you being in your throne of your power and then also being in awe of creator's power and truly having like a fusion, like lifelong fusion relationship with creation in this way. So, yeah, that's today's episode. I would love to hear from you what stuck out to you, any ahas. Comment here if you are watching on Spotify, YouTube, and yeah, if you want to go deeper into this work with me, one-on-one Lux, I'm enrolling clients for 2026. So if this is you, if you want to work with me one-on-one in high proximity mentorship, go apply through the link in the show notes. I am also filling the spaces for the Greece Atlantis New Earth Activation Retreat in June 2026. This is where you meet me on the Greek islands, 6 days of insane healing, adventure, um, talk about soul contracts. Like if you feel called to Greece, it's because you have a soul contract with the land there. And you've got to go. You've got to go. Especially in 2026, the call could not be more clear and more loud. We're going to be doing breath work. We're going to be doing just deep healing, coding, high performance. This is for you if you are birthing new visions and realities on our planet and contributing to the evolution of consciousness. So, those are the ways that you can go deeper into this work with me, the Aquarius class, and I think there will be a bundle of some sort there if you want to check that out just on the energy of this month. So, I love you, love you, love you. Have an amazing day. Be the change, be the light, be the real you. Apply if you want to work with me. There are limited spaces for everything. So make your move, use your free will. It's not, oh, divine timing or oh, fate. It's no, I use my free will because I'm claiming a new reality and I know that mentorship collapses time. It makes everything easier or unnecessary. Like there's so much stuff, unnecessary challenge people have because they don't have mentors. That all gets to go away for you when you enter this space. So I believe in you. I believe in a better world. Go make a stranger smile. And I will see you next time on A Better World with Adrienne.